Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I don't know if we did. I'm recording this in advance so we can have a great Thanksgiving. It's very complicated. This is like time travel, the DD. You don't ever know when it was recorded, let alone what I'll say. Anyhow, I got something to say today about the SEC and building off of Chris Kleiman's comments yesterday about the perception of the Big 12 Conference. But first, let's remind you, of course, I'm obligated to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If not, what was Thanksgiving all about? Think about it. Think about the baby turkeys and why you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you. Please interact with the video. It helps the algorithm greatly. Hey, Chris Kleiman made a great point about why the Big 12 should go to 8 games in conference play rather than 9 games. That was yesterday's daily delivery. But I don't agree with that. I think they need to stay with 9. But the bottom line here of his point was something the two of us agree upon. That when the Big 12 is competitive and has losses, it's because it's weak. When the SEC is competitive and teams have losses, it's because it's strong. So Chris Kleiman is saying the Big 12 plays 9 conference games, the SEC plays 8. Why don't we match that? Why don't we play on an equal field with the SEC? I personally think the SEC should be forced, along the ACC, while it still exists, to go to 9 games. It should be mandated by the playoff committee that the more power conference teams you play, the more love you get from their rankings. Sorry, should be. We're talking about ducking opponents playing non-conference games against low non-power conference teams or against FCS teams in November. Should be held against you, but it's not. Yesterday, Lane Kiffin called out the Big 12 saying, of course, 3 losses in the SEC is more important than the Big 12 because we're better. Well, we don't know that, or do we? Look, see, here's the thing, is whether it's 8 or 9 conference games, the Big 12 would love to play SEC teams. And it's you guys that typically don't want to do it. In fact, your own commissioner has said, hey, we need to not play them and only play Big 10 teams because it's the college football equivalent of stop the count. Let's stop it right here. Let's freeze it at the moment it's at our greatest advantage because we've got everyone believing our nonsense. Don't play them. Don't let them prove you wrong. But see, here's the problem with that philosophy. The Big 12 already has, and the national media ignores it. Stat provided in response to Lane Kiffin's tweet pointed out that since 2020, during the eligibility window of these current players, the Big 12 is 11-8 against the SEC. And I know they'll have hypothetical reasons why that happened because they're undefeated in their hypotheticals. We in the Big 12 would love to play Ole Miss. If you could get your AD on the phone with a Big 12 AD, and K-State, as I pointed out on the Twitter machine, has an opening for a home and away scheduling with a power conference team, well, let's make it Ole Miss. But you don't want to play those games. You don't want to be proven wrong because you already have. When laid up, stacked up, head to head, the Big 12 measures up with the SEC. But in the hypothetical world of the SEC coaches and this football playoff committee, the SEC is far superior. Reality versus perception. It's just completely out of whack. Granted, the Big 12 doesn't have powerhouse programs right now. But that's the thing. What Greg Sankey and the SEC want to do by locking out the Big 12 would basically prevent that from happening. You'll never be measured against us in the SEC during the regular season. Good luck. Always trying to cook the books. That's the SEC way. And including that would be strong-arming the media and the committee into following your testimony that the SEC is just far better. And don't check the numbers because it'll say something different. Believe us. It's a hypothetical, and we're the SEC.